Harper Lee is best known as the author of one of the most
Yes.
affecting and widely read
Hear
books of
yourselves.
American literature, To Kill a Mockingbird. The native Alabamian drew deeply from her coming-of-age years in her small hometown of Monroeville. The 1961 Pulitzer Prize-winning novel explores the dimensions of prejudice, hate, loyalty, and love through the eyes of a young girl as she awakens to the complexities of human nature and its capacity for both good and evil. The film version of To Kill a Mockingbird underscored the success of the novel with its own success. Both novel and film continue to hold the public and academia's interest. Lee was widely recognized throughout her life, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2007 and the 2010 National Medal of Arts.
There you go. I think that worked.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you. Can you do the other one now?
Yeah, that's the Harper Lee, Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Harper Lee until 25, 30 years ago. But I understood the context in which the book was written because that's how I grew up. It was the farming aspect of it, people coming to town with their mules and wagons, the streets being muddy. Everybody suffered during the Depression. It was just a matter of degree. It was hard scrabble for most people to make a living.
There was no hurry, for there was nowhere to go, nothing to buy, no money to buy it with, although Macomb County had recently been told that it had nothing to fear but fear itself.
To Kill a Mockingbird takes place between 1932 and 1935, the years Scout Finch grows from 6 to 9, living with her father and brother not far from the center of town. During those years in Monroeville, Harper Lee was the same age and growing up on South Alabama Avenue, 2 blocks from the town square and the courthouse. She was born Nell Harper Lee, the youngest daughter of Frances Finch, the name she would later give her fictional family, and Amasa Coleman Lee, called AC. Alice Finch Lee is the novelist's older sister. She's 99 and still practices law at the firm her father helped to found.
We were a close family. There was a lot of love in the family. At home, we were pretty much allowed to go in the direction that we wanted to go, unless we were headed the wrong way. This was during the Depression, and children basically did not have many store-bought toys.
We had to use our own devices for our entertainment. We didn't have much money. Nobody had any money. We didn't have many toys to play with. Nothing was done for us. So the result was that we lived in our imaginations most of the time.
It was a time in which black people were treated terribly, and people took in racism with their mother's milk.
You know, I grew up when the Klan was still active, and we would drive along 31 Highway, and you'd see all the signs, white supremacy. You know, black people stayed in their neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that gives you just a little bit of a background to the story, and the clips that you saw were from the movie that we're going to be watching when we get done with the book, The Little Girl in the Tire, and that is the classic story of To Kill a Mockingbird on screen, and so we'll be watching that when we get done with the book. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background to the time period of the Depression It's a story about Scout, who is the girl, and Jem, her brother, and her father Atticus, their father Atticus, and during the Depression time. And so the first chapter of the book just gives you a lot of background information to Macomb County, where they live, and to the characters that are going to be involved throughout the story. So the first chapter is kind of the background, but then the story really starts into the second and third chapter. But what I have, let me get my document camera.
Oh,
I'm lost without my document camera. There. Okay, so on in your document, in the resource tab, you'll have these study guide questions. So that first section here is section 1 through 3. That's the section that you'll be working on for Tuesday, next Tuesday, when the chapters are due. Those are the questions that you need to be finding answers to. I'm not going to collect these as homework, but you'll have a quiz, and the quiz is going to be directly from those questions. Does that make sense? So if you know the answers to those questions, then you will obviously do well on the quiz. So the first question is to identify the main characters of the story. So you might want to jot those down as you're reading and kind of just identify who those people are. Atticus Finch, of course, is the father. Jean Louise is the daughter, but her name is Scout in the story, and she's 6 years old to start with. Jem Finch is her brother, who's about 4 years older than her. Macomb is the county that they live in, and Calpurnia is their African-American servant, or the one who lives with them because the mother is dead. Dill, Charles Baker, or Dill, is their little neighbor boy that spends summers with them. The Radley place is the house where Boo lives, and Boo Radley is one of the main characters, only in the background because he's scary to them, and it's kind of like the haunted house of the neighborhood, and so that's where Boo lives. Stephanie Crawford is one of the neighbors. Miss Caroline Fisher is Scout's teacher, and then the Cunningham family and the Ewell family are different families that you'll be introduced to as the story goes along. So those are some of the questions. Just know who those characters are, and then as you go through the first 3 chapters, make sure you are answering those questions. Okay, so what I'd like you to do right now is we're going to take a little practice of learning how to understand definitions to words in context. When we're reading stories, a lot of times there's words in there that you may not know what they mean. And how many times do you stop and get a dictionary out and look them up? Most of the time you don't. So you just kind of guess or figure out what they mean. So what I'd like you to do is get out a piece of paper, think the word means by the context of the sentence, the underlined word, by the way, eccentric is the first one. Just kind of briefly write a definition of what you think that word means based on the sentence, and then we'll take a little mini quiz, not graded quiz, but see how well you do on figuring out context clues. So there are 9 of them. Can you all see that okay? So write down the word and then put like a little definition of what you think it means. No cheating and looking them up. Sorry. Let me know how far you are.
I'm on number 7.
Okay. Okay, so you're getting close.
Yeah, I'm on 8.
Yeah, I'm on 8 too.
Okay, thanks. Anybody not done?
I'm not done yet. I'm almost.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm finished too.
I'm done too.
I finished.
Sure. Whatever.
Kai, are you done?
I'm on the last one.
Okay.
I'm done.
It might be loud because my sisters are in the background yelling, just so you know. I apologize.
I hear them.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, anybody else need more time? Okay, so let's see how well you did on doing context clues. So now you can just number 1 through 9 and match the definition with the word and see how well you did.
Are we supposed to match these on our paper?
Yes. So just put number 1 and match and put the right, whatever letter you are going to match.
Okay, thanks.
You don't have to write the word, just write the number down and the letter. Anybody need more time?
I just have 2 more.
Okay. This is different than being in the classroom. I can't see you all and see where you're at. Everybody done?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Isaac, you done?
Yep.
Okay.
Finished.
All right, I'm going to put the answers up and we'll see how well you do on, can you see those answers?
Mhm.
Yep.
Cool.
How'd we do without cheating?
I actually did surprisingly well.
I actually did good.
Good.
I only mixed up 2.
Yeah, I only mixed up 2 things.
I
Okay.
mixed up the A and the I.
I missed 3.
Okay, so that's kind of practicing. You may have to do that a little bit in the novels so that you're understanding words in context without having to have a dictionary right there with you all the time. So your assignment then, of course, is to read chapters 1 through 3, and that's due next Tuesday, but I will see you on Thursday.